Hello. So today I'm talking to you about noun plus noun combinations. This is entry 385 from Fowler. And remember that you can also check out the other entry that is called noun plus noun, the other video, sorry, that appears here on YouTube, right? This is very, very similar, only now I'm kind of following Fowler. And for this, we have the example of milk chocolate versus chocolate milk, right? And what is important about these combinations is one, that you work out the meaning behind them, right? That you realize that the meaning is not necessarily straightforward, that we need to understand why the first noun functions as an adjective, right? It has a it has a role of an adjective, right? But at the same time, it lends a very specific meaning to the other noun. Sometimes this is very straightforward, like the difference between milk chocolate and chocolate milk. Milk chocolate is chocolate that is made with milk. There is also dark chocolate, for example, though in that case, dark, of course, is an adjective. And chocolate milk is a type of milk that has chocolate in it. There is another type of milk that is condensed milk, right? But that's even though that's a participle, right? But still, we should always remember that the relationship is sometimes figurative, or it demands our let's say a greater effort to get to the meaning, right? There are many other examples here, like the difference between a horse race and a racehorse. Um, the second point says that usually the first noun is singular, but we'll get to that. And this is true, right? Though there are many combinations in which the first noun is in the plural, right? And another point that is really important is when there are more than two nouns, as in oil production costs, road accident research center. Now, what we will be doing, as I said in the other video, is to unpack the meaning. So the first one is oil production costs. These are costs that are incurred in the production of oil. A road accident research center is a center that devotes its job to research, and the research is specifically geared to learn more about accidents that take place on the road, right, or in the street, right? Furniture factory pay cut row. Well, I forgot to tell you this, but in the first example, oil production costs, these are costs for the production of oil. So you sort of go back, right, from the noun and the adjective, backwards to the adjectives. But what about Road Accident Research Center? Actually, we have been able to join two nouns together, right? Road accident and research center. It's a research center that focuses on road accidents. What about furniture factory pay cut row? It is a row over the pay cut. But I'm going to expand this and say, okay, it is a row which sparked or was merited by cuts in the pay of furniture factory. Okay, within a factory, and the pay, actually, the pay cut for whom is that? It is for the workers, natural, right? So and this is the cut was introduced for the workers that work in the factory that produces furniture. So the question of unpacking, and we call this unpacking, demands a greater effort for us to interpret what is meant. And usually I will ask you to make sure you use verbs to join the ideas, right? Because it will actually spell them out. As regards to pronunciation on the other page, you will see that mostly these combinations have initial stress, right? And for this, I have the example buttonhole, and I have it here on purpose because actually this was initially buttonholed, right? But buttonhole is one, and it was made into one word. we'll have to pay attention to the spelling, because in the case of headdress, which is two words together, the stress is at the beginning, and also we retain the two Ds. We'll get to this one in a minute, right? We see checkbook journalism, and actually in this case the stress is at the beginning, right? But mostly if we follow Fowler, point number 6, page 358, it's a bicycle factory, fruit drink, coffee beans, ski boots. But there's also garden chair, fruit pie. And there's also, for example, the difference between boyfriend and boyfriend, right? A boyfriend is someone you're dating, and a boyfriend is a friend who happens to be a boy. And the example that Fowler gives you, which is a French teacher, right? So it's the teacher that teaches French, as opposed to the French teacher, which is a teacher who happens to come from France and be French. Well, with the headdress example, I got ahead of myself, and you could see the two Ds there, right? And as regards how you style, how you spell, but the word is to style, the two nouns, that varies. Remember, I have been telling you about this. Sometimes you get two words like area code or keypad, and that becomes one word, or bathroom, lampshade, seaside, the examples that Fowler gives you. But roadmap is two words, and well, this will vary, right? Lamp post is two words actually. Dream girl, but heartbreaker is only one, right? Of course, you need to check this out, right? And as regards to stress, well, you had the problem with the boyfriend, which and the French teacher, which changes the meaning. And as I was going to show you now, when you have rather complex combinations like checkbook journalism, which is when journalists actually do not publish what they want, but rather whatever whoever pays them tells them what to publish. That was a very odd sentence. These are journalists who speak in favor of those who pay them, right, rather than do real journalism, right, which is should be completely outside politics or whoever pays you. Dollhouse becomes one word, and the stress is at the beginning. Hush money has stress at the beginning. This is, again, money that is given to hide something that is embarrassing. Household name. Now, you can see that actually primary stress falls under name, right? And a household name means something or someone who is very well known, right? So, and this is usually for people who become popular, right? Maybe Greta Thunberg could be said to be a household name today. Human shield, again, the stress in the second word, right? When you use somebody else to protect yourself from an attack, this is a horrible thing. Let me see if yes, we have the other combinations like flagship program do not merit an entry in the dictionary. And I think the same happens for another one. I wanted to get budget meal. And let me see if I looked another one up. Baby step. Let's go back a little bit. What is a flagship program? Maybe possibly we'll find it under flagship. And its adjectival function. No, they don't have it. A flagship program would be the most important program of a company, right? And the other one we used, I forget now. Well, we had baby steps, right? And once again with baby steps, I went for budget meal. Baby steps, then I'm gonna spell out budget first. Budget is a noun, which you know very well, but budget, and here is what I was telling you about, budget can function as an adjective, and in that case we will find hopefully not a budget meal but a budget flight or a budget hotel, which simply means low priced, right? But baby steps did merit an entry in the dictionary, and you know this means doing something very slowly, right? What am I trying to say? First, remember the first noun functions as an adjective, and maybe you find the full expression baby step as an entry in the dictionary, or sometimes you need to see the adjectival function of the first noun, right, to find the meaning that you're looking for. But well, as I said, sometimes you will find there's another. Well, there are many others. I won't give you more examples. Now, sometimes these relationships between the two nouns are expressed as, for example, in point number 4, made of. So a gold watch is made of gold, and silk stockings are made of silk. Sometimes it's a measurement relationship, like a 5-liter can. Sometimes it is a genitive, right? And in this case, Fowler gives you some very interesting examples, and it tells you that in Britain, people prefer baby's bottle, apostrophe s, whereas American English prefers baby bottle. Baby's pram, British English; baby carriage, American English; doll's house, British English; and doll house, American English. Now, what is that? Well, this is something I usually insist on when I'm talking about this. When you have two nouns, actually, you might have had two words joined by of or the apostrophe s. Which is the one that you should choose? Simply the one that usage has decided is the one that we need to go for. This is not something we can decide in advance. That is to say, you speak of a man's leg, you don't speak of a man leg, right? That doesn't exist, right? You just say it like that. So it can be difficult, right? Particularly if you want to come up with this from Spanish into English. It is less problematic if you actually see it in English because you realize what that is, right? Finally, I want to take you to entry 531, where you will find many examples of noun plus noun combinations in which the first noun is in the plural, like clothes shop, a glasses case, um, customs officer, arms control, savings account. Well, there are many others, right? And some of them are optional, right? Yes, like a greeting or a greetings card, right? So beware of these noun plus noun combinations. Thank you.